Yo, what's up, guys? Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul last Saturday. Man, I got to watch the whole thing live. Next time that we have a next fight like that, I'm going to give you guys live commentary 100%. The reason why I didn't for the Jake Paul Diaz fight is because I didn't have the right equipment. I needed the right cords to be able to do the live stream, but I'll make sure I have that ready to go next fight. Which may be the prime card, it might be before that. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Let's get right into this Diaz Jake Paul business. Let's go, baby. All right, first off, first round, Jake comes in hot. Boom, boom, pow, cut a bang. He's ready. He's ready to drop Nate right then and there. And man, I think everybody watching was scared it was going to happen, man. I was like, oh no, not this early, man. Not this early, man. No, not like this. Not Nate Diaz, not like this. But man, quickly I realized it's Nate Diaz. It doesn't matter that it's boxing, it's Nate Diaz. You best know, but my boy lasts all 10 rounds. But I do gotta say, I'm really proud at Jake Paul for looking good later in the fight. I knew he would, because he knocked Anderson Silva in the 8th round, knocked Tommy Fury in the 8th round, so I knew that he had the capabilities, and he didn't knock Nate as late as he did with Silva and Tommy, but he did knock him down in the 5th, which isn't exactly early. So yeah, his title still stands as a solid boxer. I was disappointed in the fact that he couldn't finish Nate, but then again, it's Nate Diaz. It's Nate Diaz. I mean, come on now. Not very many people can finish Nate Diaz, so I can't really give him too much fault for that. But Nate, though, man, I was impressed with Nate. Nate did way better than I thought he would, and honestly, Nate's probably the reason why I feel disappointed in Jake. It isn't really because Jake did worse than I thought. It's that because Nate was a lot better than I thought. I mean, it was Nate's first boxing match, so I did thought he was gonna struggle a lot more than he did. I mean, he definitely struggled a lot in the first round, but he found himself really quickly, and he found himself a lot quicker than I thought he would. I thought like the first 3 or 4 rounds would look like the first one. That's my bad. I was wrong there, because man, Nate Diaz is him, and he showed that because it was his first boxing match. And come on now, compare Nate Diaz's first boxing match to any other Jake's people, because you got to consider that Silva, that was not his first boxing match. That means a big difference in my opinion. So that's the reason why I think that Nate Diaz looked a lot better than I thought he would. And I'm ready to see him fight again, hopefully in the boxing ring. Come on now, comment down below if you really want Nate to be in the boxing ring again. That was fun. Seeing him interact with the crowd and everything, going back and forth with Jake, all the taunts and stuff, man. Like, it was a boring fight when it came to the boxing, but the fact that it was Nate Diaz in there doing it, made it entertaining as hell, in my opinion. If you thought it was boring, I mean, I guess I see why, but it was Nate Diaz. And if that's not enough for you, I mean, that tells me all I need to know, for real. Man, there was a lot to talk about in this fight. I'm not the person to go into depth. I'm not no Wade. I'll admit that. But I did want to talk about Jake Paul's left hook, because man, his left hook is now just as good as his overhand. And I got a question. What the happened to his overhand? He didn't use his overhand at all in the Nate Diaz fight. Like, he used it a lot in the Tommy Fury fight. You didn't see it barely much at all in the Nate Diaz fight. That is the biggest difference I've seen from Jake Paul. He is learning how to fight without his overhand, and that was honestly, I think, a really good idea, because Nate was really defending the right hand good when he did try to use it. So I think that's the reason why I didn't notice him using the overhand, is because Nate was good at defending the right hand. And that's why Jake Paul had to use the left hook. And the fact that he's got that in his arsenal now, I mean, I would say that's a difference between KSI and him. But after watching that, I really feel like KSI's pressure will get to Jake, because Jake's not good against pressure fighters. We've seen it with Tommy, then we've seen it with Nate. Now, KSI's pressure is arguably better than both of them combined. So I think Jake Paul would have a really big problem with KSI's pressure. I honestly think KSI might be Jake's kryptonite in that way. He definitely has more of an arsenal than KSI, 100%. But KSI's pressure is literally Jake's weakness. So that's why that fight is so entertaining. And that's why it's hard for me to say who will actually win. Who do y'all think? That's the big question. Jake, KSI, main event. This is the old one we've been waiting for. KSI Tommy, Jake versus Tommy, I don't care about Tommy Fury. I want to see them two fight. What y'all think? Let me know down in the comments below. Bada bang.
Everybody look about it like your eyes are full. Put your hands up.